Game 3 wasn't basketball. It was daylight robbery dressed up as a playoff thriller. The Indiana Fever had clawed their way into control, built a lead, and played the kind of hard, physical defense that wins in May and June. And then the whistles started. One after another, each call chipped away at the work Indiana had done until the Las Vegas Aces weren't battling their opponent anymore. They were riding a wave of free throws and unearned possessions. From the stands at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, you could feel the air shift. On social media, slow-motion replays and hot takes exploded. And on the court, the scoreboard told the story that the box score couldn't. This wasn't a game decided by talent. It was one decided by officiating. It began with a single sequence, the kind that makes a crowd lose its collective mind. Aja Wilson set a screen that looked illegal to anyone with eyes, her leg jutting out just enough to trip Lexie Hull. The whistle blew, but somehow the foul went against Hull. Moments later, Alyssa Smith and Wilson both hammered Michaela Timpson on a drive. Nothing. The Fever could have taken a one-point lead into halftime. Instead, Vegas got the benefit of another phantom call. And that was only the first half. By the third quarter, the tension boiled over when Aaliyah Boston tried to challenge a foul on Jackie Young. Stephanie White motioned for review. The bench waved frantically. The officials simply ignored them. Seconds later, Chelsea Gray buried a corner three and the Fever's lead, built on grit and execution, vanished like smoke. Clips of the exchange went viral before the quarter ended, fans dissecting every frame to show how the ignored challenge flipped the momentum. This wasn't an isolated storm. From the opening tip of the series, Indiana had been playing against two opponents, the Aces and the officiating crew. Game 1 set the template, Vegas clawing back through free throws while Indiana's own physical play drew whistles like a magnet. Game 2 only magnified it. Foul calls piled up so quickly that even Fever coach Stephanie White had to say it out loud afterward. It's hard to find a flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. Offense is about rhythm, she explained. But how do you find rhythm when the game stops every other possession? By Game 3, it wasn't just a pattern, it was a wall. And yet, amid the chaos, one Indiana player turned the night into something unforgettable. Lexie Hull wasn't even supposed to be on the floor. Her back injury from Game 1 left her questionable, her movements stiff during warm-ups. But she refused to let her team fight alone. Hull played through obvious pain, diving for loose balls, wrestling for rebounds against taller aces, and hitting shots that felt like lifelines. 6 of 10 from the field, 3 threes, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, numbers that would stand out in any box score but under these circumstances felt like defiance itself. Every time Vegas inched closer, Hull answered. When the whistles drained Indiana's energy, she pumped it back into the building. The cameras caught her grimacing more than once. But the pain didn't matter. She ripped down rebounds she had no right to get, fought for jump balls, and calmly drilled threes that tied a franchise playoff record. Her performance was the kind that bonds a crowd to a player forever. And yet, when the night ended, it wasn't Hull's courage everyone was talking about. It was the officiating. Her career-defining game was buried under a mountain of controversy. Meanwhile, the Aces' biggest star barely showed up. Aja Wilson, the face of the league and an MVP candidate, opened with a confident three-pointer, then missed 11 shots in a row. She finished just 6 for 20 from the field, 13 points on 20 attempts. By any measure, that's a brutal night. But while Aaliyah Boston's relentless defense forced Wilson into awkward, contested looks, Vegas never really suffered. Jackie Young carried the scoring load with 25 points, Chelsea Gray added 15, and role players filled the gaps. The whistles took care of the rest. In a cruel twist, Becky Hammon even complained afterward that Wilson had only one free throw attempt in 38 minutes, as though Vegas hadn't lived at the foul line all series long. Indiana did what you're supposed to do against the league's best. They bottled Wilson up, frustrated her, and forced her team to find other answers. But when the officiating keeps tilting, effort only goes so far. Vegas walked away with the win, not because their superstar dominated, but because every break tilted their way. It wasn't a statement victory. It was a protected escape. Now the series shifts to a pivotal Game 4, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse is ready to roar. 17,000 Fever fans will pack the arena, a wall of noise and defiance. Indiana is down 2-1. One more loss ends their season. But Sunday isn't just about survival. It's about flipping the narrative, proving that their fight can outlast both their opponent and the whistles. Becky Hammon has already started laying groundwork, warning about physicality and hinting the calls might finally favor the home team. The irony is unmistakable. After 3 games of officiating tilted toward Vegas, the two-time champions are bracing for a night when the scales might at last even out. Indiana's blueprint is simple but urgent. Feed Aaliyah Boston early, force Wilson to defend without help from the stripe. Get Kelsey Mitchell rolling after her quiet Game 3. Ride the heart and momentum of Lexie Hull, whose fearless night made her the soul of this team. If those pieces click and Gainbridge unleashes its full volume, Vegas will have to win on merit, not on whistles. And that is a different kind of challenge altogether. The Fever didn't lose Game 3, they had it stolen. They built a lead, played elite defense, and watched it dissolve under the weight of calls that turned the game into something less than basketball. Game 4 is their chance to take it back, to show that their season and their pride won't end on someone else's whistle. Do you think the Fever can bounce back? If yes, then comment "Let's go Fever." And if you're fired up for a wild finish, like this video, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next chapter in this battle.